Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And today, if you don't mind, I would very much like to continue on with our journey, our discussions, our discoveries, and our explorations with respect to the recent releases made by the Criterion Collection during this year of 2022. And that brings us to a very special release, which is another comprehensive collection of 3 feature films from a filmmaker, a brilliant filmmaker. And so we have a multi-disc Blu-ray set, a Blu-ray release, which is designated at spine number 1162. And the name of this set is 3 films by Mai Zetterling. This is the release from the Criterion Collection, this brilliant multi-disc Blu-ray release, which is featuring a number of films, 3 films, as the title suggests, which is 3 films by Mai Zetterling, this great, brilliant filmmaker, Mai Zetterling. And this is a multi-disc set, and the 3 films that we have included here are, and please pardon me for my poor pronunciation of the Swedish language, I hope you can forgive me. The first film is Älskande Par from 1964. Älskande Par, or as it's known in English, Loving Couples. And then the next film is from 1966, and this is the work which is Nattlet, or as it's known in English, Night Games. And last but certainly not least, the film from 1968, which is Flickorna, or as it's known in English, The Girls. So we have Loving Couples, Night Games, and The Girls as the 3 feature films, separated on 3 Blu-ray discs total, and with supplements that are featured for each of these discs accordingly. So once again, Loving Couples and Night Games and The Girls are part of this wonderful package, again, from the filmmaker, Mai Zetterling. And so we have, therefore, I should note that the spine number designation is 1162 for the set overall. My understanding is individual spine numbers are not given to the films themselves directly, but that's okay, because we still have the opportunity to speak about these brilliant films going forward. I should point out, too, that we'll speak more about the setup and the packaging, etc., but for purposes of today, what I'd like to do is just introduce this set and then go forward with separate video discussions on each of these works. They are so splendid and fascinating and visceral, and some parts are quite experimental indeed in terms of cinema style and form. There's ways in which chronology is handled in this very poetic, haphazardly poetic manner that also indicates a sense of links to, say, emotional or psychological states of the characters that we are coming to meet throughout the course of these very interesting, thematically linked in some areas, but also distinct and separate in others, films from Mai Zetterling. Once again, Loving Couples, Night Games, and The Girls. And so it is my hope to be able to speak about each of these works, again, in separate videos. And so if you're interested, we can speak about the first film in terms of this set that is included, which is Loving Couples, and also the supplements that are associated with that as well. I should point out that this set has given me so much of a type of introduction to the world of Mai Zetterling. Some of you may know that there are some connections, actually, with the current physical media catalog and the works of Mai Zetterling. I point your attention, for example, to the work which is called Visions of 8, and this title, which is focusing in on the Olympic Games, is one that is also spoken of in some of the supplemental materials that we find in, say, for instance, the some of the other discs 2 and 3, I believe, but and also mentioning also on disc 1 as well. But this is again a way in which we can get to know more of the works that Mai Zetterling was focusing on, say, prior to the point of her work on Visions of Eight. And so the works that we have here from the 1960s are very astounding. They are very astounding, quite challenging. They handle a sense of form and style while also focusing on stories that are about, say, parenthood. In some films, for example, mothers and sons, or parents and children. And other times we are speaking about, say, pregnancy and sexuality in the context of specific female characters that we meet. For instance, in Loving Couples or in Night Games, or in fact in all of them. So Loving Couples, Night Games, and The Girls. And also there is a sense too of a type of discussion or dissection of the not just the actual state of marriage and relationships that and affairs and sexual relations and also emotional relations, but also the sense of how this may or may not be a type of reflection of, say, the individual characters that we meet, and or we may see how certain characters might either go along with this type of view of oneself, self-reflexive view, or how some characters might resist that and instead go for certain other options of, say, a type of establishment of one's own character and independence, and indeed one's own individuality. And so we have, therefore, the possibility of a myriad of different, say, subplots and character arcs that we meet along the way within the context of each of the films separately, but also in the context of this set of 3 films overall. And so I find that we have a wonderful mix of the, say, directly almost what one might call a type of quote unquote stark realism, while also combined in a very fluid and balanced way with aspects of, say, very almost theatrical, very cinematically surreal, and almost in a way that is jumping back and forth in time, again, to reflect a sense of emotional or psychological states of the characters that we meet, looking back, memory, but also maybe regret or hope or aspiration, or a sense too of a realization or an understanding of certain aspects of reality. And upon that realization or understanding, we see how the characters either maybe overcome such aspects, or maybe succumb to such aspects, or maybe are maybe at peace with such aspects, or somewhere in between, or maybe a completely different option, whatever the case of that particular character may be. And so this is my very maybe unpolished way to try to say how much I am unpolished in a very inexperienced way, because, as I say, I am being introduced to the world of Mai Zetterling in a manner of speaking, because while I know the works of Mai Zetterling, I don't know them well enough. And so this set has given me so much of a window into this great filmmaker. And so my impressions, again, in these very unpolished and inexperienced comments from me are still ones that are from a place that I find myself very much fascinated by this filmmaker. I was so enthralled. I was taken aback. There's the phrase, take one's breath away. I mean, there were moments in some of these films where I was just caught for breath. It was that captivating. And it was that type of shocking, but also there were moments of warmth and humor, and a type of buoyancy, and also a type of bounce in the step, as well as a sense of the playful and the frolic, as well as a sense of the environment and the situations, as well as a sense of the truly cinematically profound. I mean, there are moments too where Mai Zetterling, we know, is you doing things with the camera work, doing things with shifting back and forth in time, even within certain, say, sequences or shots, or maybe with a subliminal cut here and there, or maybe something that's not subliminal, maybe it's more purposefully forceful and the like, and there always is a type of impact or reasoning or philosophy behind that. And so this set was and is a true gem. It is a true gem because of each of the works. Now, I should say too that each work does have distinct qualities about them that make them stand on their own on one hand, but then because of this collection, we can say that there is a sense of a thematic through line, or the possibility of reading the films in the sense of an overall overarching thematic through line, or a number of through lines. And so what I like too about the way the Criterion Collection has assembled this and presented this is that it also serves as a type of primer, as a type of introduction to the world of Mai Zetterling, as well as giving us a sense of the trajectory of her career in the context of these three films. And indeed, during the 1960s, there were, during the 1960s, her work here, it was and is very exciting. And what's great too about this release is that it shows us the context of these films, how they were important to her career, what was her career prior to making these films, what was her career after making these films, and what were some of the circumstances involving, say, some of the releases of these films. For example, Night Games. We'll get to that discussion when we get to some of the supplemental material discussion. But my goodness, there is a lot to say about the Venice Film Festival and the quote unquote the way it was shown, etc. So and it shows a lot too about the various, say, themes and conditions that Mai Zetterling was dealing with, both in terms of the films and the stories that she was trying to tell in these three films and other works in her filmography, and also behind the camera. And here we also have some great background information, introduction about her biography, about her career, about her very illustrious and varied career in terms of the arts and writing and novel writing and script writing, and also movie making and directing, as well as her work with documentaries, as well as features, as well as her work as an actor, and also in terms of stage and screen in many parts of the globe. And so, as well as many other aspects of her career and life and personality and character that shine through so brilliantly, so lovingly, and indeed so affectionately, and with a lot of care and attention and intimacy, and these portraits of the artist. And there are many portraits of the artist here of Mai Zetterling that are created in a way that give us, the viewer, it's, for example, someone in my position who, again, is coming at this world and coming to this filmmaker more or less fresh and with the eyes of a novice, but also someone who is very excited to learn more based on what I've seen with this release, as well as the supplements and the films themselves. They are truly breathtaking, groundbreaking, honest, earnest, shocking, funny, and elaborate, and clever and witty, as well, also very direct and meaningful, and very, very profound indeed, each in their own way. And I look forward very much to trying to articulate with a little bit more specificity in the context of each of these three films separately as to why I feel that way. So this is my way to try to say, therefore, this set was really good, overwhelmingly good, excellent, stellar. And I learned so much. And it was a great education for me. It is a great education for me, and also a great discovery. One of the words I like to use is discovery, a discovery of things in cinema. And this indeed is one of the great discoveries for me, thanks to this great Criterion release. I'm so happy to be able to explore these films in the context of this Criterion release in this multi-disc set, and I'll try my best to express a little bit more about these feelings as we go through each of the films throughout this video discussion. So, therefore, my friends, this is the first of a number of video discussions. Next up will be a separate video discussion, on Elskandetpur, or Loving Couples, from 1964. And then after that, we will talk about the film Night Games from 66, or Natlek. And then last but not least, we'll have another separate discussion on The Girls, or Flikurna, and this is from 1968. And then after that, we will have one more discussion, which will be a type of overall wrap-up discussion, including some comments about the Criterion release itself. The booklet is great. It has a wonderful comprehensive essay, and we'll also talk a little bit about the other packaging editing details and the like from Criterion. So with that, my dear friends, let us, if you're interested, move forward with the discussion of this Criterion release, focusing in on the filmmaker Mai Zetterling. And this release is 3 films by Mai Zetterling. All right, my dear friends, so that's it for now. And so until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well. And please keep on watching a lot of great, great, great movies, including the works by Mai Zetterling. So until the next video, my dear friends, stay strong, stay safe, and cheers.